I went to bed last night thinking about this gospel passage. I don't know how well I slept, but I do know that at 4 o'clock this morning I had to get up and look at it again and sit down and jot some notes, because I realized that this gospel passage, which has always been used to talk about hospitality, which it is about, also teaches us a far deeper message. But first, let's go back to hospitality. Hospitality is the art of helping people to feel at home, to feel comfortable. Hospitality is the art and ministry of serving people so that they can truly be who they are, and helping them to understand and to become who God has called them to be. And I hope that each and every one of us at some point in our life has been treated so hospitably that that lesson sticks in our mind. How we were welcomed, how we were accepted, how we were honored and respected for the person that we are. Because if that lesson sticks in our memories and in our minds, then we have a desire, I hope, to replicate that for other people, to honor them, to accept and respect them, and to serve them with the truth that is Jesus Christ in the gospel. The classic example of Semitic hospitality is given to us in the passage from the book of Genesis. Abraham and Sarah, the nomads that they were, wandering through the desert, following their sheep, their flocks, and these three men appear out of nowhere. And Abraham is very quick to welcome them in, to attend to their needs, to make certain that they are welcomed and respected and honored within his culture and his family. Semitic hospitality is so absolutely important that it becomes sacred, because living in a harsh environment such as the desert certainly could mean death, and hospitality means life, and the giving and preserving of life. Jesus, in the gospel passage from St. Luke, is welcomed into the home of Mary and Martha, and suddenly things begin to happen. Martha, of course, and we all know her well because we see us in her, we see her in us, worried and distracted about so many incredibly little things that she cannot rest and sit in the presence of Jesus and listen to what he has to say. In fact, Martha is so distracted with all the things that she has to do to put food on the table that she goes to Jesus and she says, "Jesus, tell my sister to help me." And I know I'm the only one here who has ever told God what to do. You would never do that. I would, and have on many occasions, and probably will before the day is over. We are Martha. Martha is we. But there's another person, another woman in this story, and Mary sits at the feet of Jesus, listening intently to everything he has to say. She laughs at his jokes, and it's probably that caused Martha so much anguish, because she did not take the opportunity to sit with Jesus. But Martha is a woman, perhaps the older of the two sisters. She knows her place. Her culture has taught her well. Women do not sit at the feet of men who have been invited into the home. It was the man of the house who had the responsibility to sit and visit with the guest, the other men who came into the house. The fact that Jesus is there in that house is certainly against Semitic culture. There's no mention of Lazarus, the brother of Mary and Martha. He's not there, or so it appears. Mary has taken the part of the man of the house. How dare her step outside of cultural mores? How dare her be who God is calling her to be? There are rules and regulations that need to be followed. Martha is doing all of that. Mary has just thrown it all away. And notice Jesus' response. She has chosen the better part. Something happens when we encounter Jesus, when we sit and listen to what Jesus has to say, when we can laugh with Jesus, when we allow Him to cry with us. Something changed in the gospel at that moment, in that story that Luke gives us. All of those old cultural mores, those old rules and regulations get put aside. Jesus has been welcomed into the home. Jesus has welcomed these two sisters into His life. And suddenly the world, and particularly the place of women in Jesus' time and society, has changed. No longer are Martha and Mary the property of their father or of their older brother. They are now disciples of Jesus. And Paul, in his letters and in his teaching, will carry that message out into the world. And in the course of his evangelizing, Paul will encounter women who have accepted the gospel so intensely that they become co-evangelizers with Paul, going out to proclaim Jesus Christ resurrected and glorified. And so in the New Testament, women go from being property to co-evangelizers. Women go from being owned to being freed. Women, too, carry with them the mystery of God and reveal to all of us a whole new side of God that we as men cannot understand. And so it takes the proclamation of man and woman to come to a fuller understanding of who God is, what God is calling us to, and where God is leading us. What had been incomplete in the Old Testament has reached its completion and fulfillment in the New as Jesus Himself, the Son of God, gives and receives hospitality and calls the world to a whole new way of being. These readings truly are about hospitality. And what that means for us today is that these readings give us the opportunity to see one another, men, women, people of every race and culture and tongue, the opportunity to see Jesus within all people, to receive Him with love and honor and respect, and to be received by all people in that same way. I don't know whether it's coincidence or whether it's God's providence that this set of readings was given to us on this Sunday as both political parties enter into their national conventions on the way to Election Day. But it is interesting. What is God telling us about who we are and about where we are going?